Welcome to Greige Against the Machine, the podcast where we celebrate the extraordinary talent and accomplishments of lesser-known and even unknown artists and creatives. I'm Lisa Catara alongside Justin Harvey, and each week we'll explore the minds and stories of the journeymen and women behind your favorite films, shows, ads, music, and more. Those who craft magic without the red carpet spotlight or public eye, because everyone has a unique story to tell, and sometimes the most inspiring voices are the ones you haven't heard yet.
Welcome back to Greige Against the Machine, the unscripted journey of working class Hollywood. See, that time I said
Hollywood. You did. That was really good.
Yeah, so much better than last week.
Listen, you gotta get it right. Gotta do take three.
There's always room for improvement, Lisa. Always room for improvement.
No, we're perfect. I've been watching a copious amounts of shows, just like studying what's out there. And All American came out again with a new season, and I've got two friends on it, so I'm like, I'm obviously going to watch it. And I just realized that another one of my friends has been on the show quite a bit, and I thought, well, wouldn't it be fun to invite him on the Greige?
Oh, right? You got friends, and
friends.
And you're watching friends do things that you want to see your friends do. That's
I love that. Actually, his face has popped up many times. This is the friend. This is Merrick McCartha. Actually, there's been several shows that I've watched where all of a sudden Merrick has popped up. He's been on High Potential, which I love, and Grey's Anatomy, and Unstable, Curb Your Enthusiasm. I mean, Merrick is a very working guy and a lovable dude as well. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun to have him on and just, tell us
these are wonderful programs that have encapsulated very large amounts of time in my life.
Oh, yeah, same.
It's amazing.
Yeah, we have quality. It's quality.
Well, we love quality. I guess let's bring Merrick in and let's talk to him all about it.
Please.
Hello. Welcome.
Hi, how's everyone?
Good. You're out there in sunny California. I think it's sunny right now.
Yeah, it's sunny. Yeah.
Ooh, that's bright.
It's got to beat Cleveland. We're swarmed with mosquitoes this year here in Cleveland. It's just a weird thing. Like the last 3 years, we kind of got a late frost and they all went away, and it was very pleasant. And this year, it's like the bayou.
Mosquitoes absolutely
lake,
love them.
Right?
Yes.
Yes, our beautiful lake that isn't a mistake. Thank you very much.
No, it's funny because I'm from Michigan originally, and I have family in Ohio, Dayton, Fairfield area myself.
Oh, so beautiful!
Multiple summers going down to visit my friends in Ohio.
So good food then, because we got all kinds of good food between Michigan and Ohio.
Yeah,
lovely, Merrick. Your resume. You've been working a long time. You've obviously been working prior to when I got out to Hollywood in 2005. When did you start in Hollywood? And did you come from stage prior to that?
It's a longer story. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. And I got into theater in high school and at Cass Tech High in Detroit, which is considered an elite school, now an elite football school, apparently, in the country. And then I was studying engineering as my main thing. Cass Tech, mainly, technical, but also very artful. So I got into a little bit of theater, and I knew I loved it, but I knew in a working class, blue collar family that I grew up in, I was going to be, go get a job and you raise a family and then you retire at 65 and then whatever. So I was going that route. So I was studying engineering, and then I ended up moving out to San Diego, California. Even though I started at the University of Michigan, I went over to UC San Diego to study engineering, and I became an engineer and led an accomplished engineer career doing electronics engineering for a aerospace company. We were designing computers for satellite programs. So it wasn't until later in life that I turned to acting. It happened after a whirlwind of things happened in my life personally that I was like, I want to go back to the thing that I wanted to try and never really tried to go for. And I knew that I didn't want to live life wondering what if. So even though I was later on in life, like I was 40, whatever it was, I decided to go on. I started taking some more classes, did some theater stuff, and then I did some short films in San Diego. And then I got an agent, and it was all a tough road to do all that stuff because I knew nothing about the industry when I started this. I had some friends that were trying to do it as well, but really the industry, especially in Los Angeles, I didn't know much about it. But after a few years of really trying and persevering, I got to get some kind of consistent work, enough for me to move to Los Angeles from San Diego.
Amazing. Was it film or TV, or was it commercial work?
Commercial work,
yeah,
and episodic
as
well. But yeah, it's been it's a challenging time, and only later in my life after being an actor for a while, that I realized that, it's that journey that has been the passion part. People think, oh, you want to get to where you're an A-list actor. And it's like, actually,
no, thank you.
the growth and fulfillment part is in that crazy journey that you go through in life. And being an actor is more than just, getting paid $bazillion to do one movie. It's like,
what do you mean? I love being in my mansion in the Hollywood Hills
right
now.
Yeah. But being an actor, it's an experience in the art, and that's what you're really going for. And living life and going through tasks and persevering through things, that builds your wealth of experience for you to be a great actor.
Truly. I find that, and I don't know if it's the same for you, but when you're not a famous actor, which has never been an aspiration of mine, I wanted to be a working actor. Mm-hmm. You're part of this really unique community of people on their journeys who are like really grinding and doing the work and sharing ideas and creative, and they're vulnerable and they communicate. You're part of something so special, and it's really hard to explain to other people. Like we're kind of like, we're a community. We're like a family of sorts,
Sure.
being out there in Hollywood.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's unlike the traditional path. So like, I had parents and relatives back home. They're like, so wait, you don't work, but like once a month or something? I'm like, yeah. How do you, they don't get it. They're like, so wait, you don't know what you're going to make every month? No. They're like,
not a clue.
How are you existing in California of all places?
Because you work.
Yeah, what your income is. So yeah,
I really don't know how to explain that to people, because they kind of sort of know that we make a contract rate, and I have no complaints about our contract rate. I think it's lovely to have that. It's just the amount of work that we need right now is my concern. Mm-hmm. But when you're working, you go through spells when nothing seems to stick and you can't seem to land anything. But then you get this ride in the river, and you breathe and you get to do the work and you get to be in your moment and reach your potential, and it's so nice. It's just so great.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So can I ask you real quick, two questions.
Yes.
First of all, when you were at UCSD, did you have Ray Harvey for any of your math classes?
Ray Harvey sounds familiar, but I can't say for sure.
He's my grandfather's brother. He was a professor at UCSD.
Really?
Cool.
Yeah, it's possible.
I'm sure he was there at the time that you were there.
I think at that point I was studying differential equations, and it's like theoretical quantum physics, like Einstein. It was a class. The class was so hard that at one point the teacher's like, listen, I don't expect you to solve this problem. If you could just set up the formula, I'll give you credit.
You can just even figure out what could help us solve the problem. Then you get an A.
Right, exactly. Oh,
yeah, I don't need that in my life. That's but my real question was this: along your journey, and I know I love the fact that you started a little bit later, because that's very unique to the stories that we've been hearing here. I don't know that we've heard anybody really doing that. Like Lisa switched up her paths a little bit, and we've heard other people switch their paths, but you just straight up got started later than a lot of people, which is amazing. So in that truncated amount of time that you had to kind of envision or start seeing success, who would you say was the most influential or inspirational or person along the way that kind of helped you see what this path could be for you? Is there a person or a few people, like who gave you the leg up to do this?
I would say there are a few people that I looked at and saw and said, there's a guy named Kim Estes, who is a governor of the Television Academy Peer Group, Performers Group, and he's been in the business for a long time. He was actually doing some work down in San Diego, and I connected with him because I know he was working in LA and doing stuff, and I reached out not expecting any reply whatsoever, just some basic questions I had from maybe about how to do a resume or something. And he responded right away and was really helpful and encouraging. And that's one of the few people that I've met along this journey that has always been there for me. Today, beautiful. I can call Kim Estes. He was at my wedding with my wife, and he's that guy that's really special. He's a working class actor, a successful businessman before he got into acting.
Excellent.
And he's worked with all kinds of great actors himself. So I think every show that I've done, he's also done. Like he did it before me.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so he's that guy. And
did you come with did you have shows on your list? You're like, I have to book this. This is something I have to book.
No, I wouldn't say that necessarily. No. The first show I booked was Criminal Minds.
Wow, excellent.
Okay,
that's so cool.
So it's interesting how
I love that
Criminal Minds. So I did a showcase in LA, and the casting director that ran the showcase was the main casting director for Criminal Minds, and he got to know me pretty well. I did a full show, and it's like casting people were there. And after that showcase, I got an audition for Criminal Minds. I had multiple after that, but one I got and I booked it. It was just for a doctor. I had no credits.
Oh, you're perfect. You're booked.
A doctor, and it was a short scene of Criminal Minds where I was a doctor and the killer burst into the hospital room that I'm in, and we kind of panicked. And loved it, great, and I was excited because I finally got on a network show. And I told my friends and family we were setting up this viewing party and everything to watch it, and it looked great. I mean, I got great compliments on set from what I could tell. And like a week before it was going to air, I got a call or email or call from the network saying, "We're so sorry, Merrick. We had to cut your scene from the show because of time."
You guys, okay, so this is important. This happens. This absolutely happens. It is so painful because you think of the miles on the car, the rehearsing the lines, the finally getting that audition in the first place, and then the call back, and then maybe even a table, and you finally get there and you film this thing, and you're like, yes, cash the check, and you're like, can't wait till it airs, and then wah, wah, wah.
No, it's very, very real. I recently heard a story about the woman who was in Breakfast Club that had a real supporting part, and they cut out everything because it ended in kind of a raunchy teen comedy Porky's-esque kind of scene.
Oh, really?
So Ali Sheedy and Molly Ringwald were like, we don't really want to be a part of that, where our careers are going or whatever. Yeah. So not only did they cut that scene out, they cut 20 minutes of scenes that this woman was in. And Breakfast Club is like a 90-minute movie instead of a 2-hour movie because of it.
Really?
And she was never seen. I mean, you got to be thinking, I'm in this movie with the Brat Pack, and my career is going to go somewhere. And then one thing just turns it, and not necessarily for a bad reason, but she's just gone. She gone.
So this is the mystery as a working actor, at least for me. There's the times when you book a co-star and you get there and the producers is like, we love this gal, upgrade and give her pages of dialogue on the day, and you're like, this is amazing, and you crunch it out. And then there's the days when you book a recurring or a really strong guest star and you go there with tons of dialogue, and in the final edit you just do this.
Yes. I had another story. So just to back on Criminal Minds. So after I didn't air for Criminal Minds, they swore, "Oh, Merrick, this." Even though they paid me for the day's work, they listen, Merrick, don't worry. They now you're available for other stuff. They can certainly call you in again for other roles. So we'll certainly get you back in. And they did. They got me back in for a much bigger role in another Criminal Minds episode. And I was with all the cast. It was Joe Montana and Charlie Gibson and Shamar Moore and the woman that's on 911 now. Sarah Michelle Gellar.
You booked 911 as well, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, that's another story on 911. I think the same thing kind of happened there. So I booked a 911 episode where I was again a doctor. And my scene was I was basically giving an IV to Peter Krause, who the story line was that he was afraid of needles, like he's afraid of blood. So mine was a flashback scene where I'm talking to him and then giving him this IV, and then he's like gets queasy. I'm like, "Are you okay?" And he passes out. So the final, they didn't cut me out. here's the final edit was when they aired the episode. It was saying, "Hey, Peter, remember how you're afraid of blood?" He said, "No, I know what you're talking about." And they did a flash to him simply falling off my exam bed. I think they maybe got my elbow in or something. I'm not sure.
That's me.
Elbow, mama. This is my elbow.
I mean, it's funny, but
it hurts. So. Listen, it's all with love. It's in the past.
So
editors have jokes too, people. Editors have jokes too.
Thankfully, I hadn't told a lot of people about that. I didn't get told anyone about it because I wasn't sure what was going to happen, and they basically did that. But they also somehow called me back in for. I don't think I get credit for that either. So they called me back in for another role, and it was like a top of show guest star for the next time I got on 911. That was like with Angela Bassett and Dawn Lewis. And,
I would love to.
All those. It was like all that. Yeah. So it happens. You think of things as, oh my God, it's a letdown, but it's like, hey, this is just part of the workings of the machinery of the industry. Yeah. And you've got to let it work out and not get too bent out of shape and not too destroyed by this, because
of course, your tenacity.
There's more opportunities there for you to take. So.
This is the part of the industry I want people to see. It's the cogs that make the wheels move, because they see the show, they see the final edit, and maybe if they're really a cinephile, they'll stay for the credits, but they don't know all of this happened behind the scenes. That's just your character. Who knows for all the other supporting characters going on, or even crafty or makeup and hair if they were rotating people through and somebody booked something else. I'm like, there's so many moving parts. It's constant management and problem solving.
Yeah, definitely.
You should be booked as a front build star on a show.
Well, and you talked about this happening where you can go in there, there's more stuff for you. Twice that's happened, I would say, that sticks in my mind. One is when I booked that second episode of Criminal Minds, it was a politician giving a speech was my main scene. And there was like this little paragraph of the speech I was ending. And then like a day before the shooting or 2 days before the shooting, they're like, Merrick, is like this big alert email gets to me. Merrick, urgent, you reply. And then like, hey, we want to add a ton more dialogue to your speech. Is that okay? I'm
is
like,
that okay?
Yes.
I guess.
I'll handle it. I'll make it work.
I mean, I've only been training for this for you. Sure. Yes, of course I can. And also,
they do have to ask though.
Yes. They do have to ask. The show All American. I did a co-star on that show for the first episode. Didn't know I'd ever be back, and they called me back in for another episode for a small scene in a hospital with our daughter. The woman played my wife and our daughter, and it turned out that the day of shooting, something happened where one of the actors couldn't be there. There was an emergency; they couldn't work, but they had all this. There's a hospital scene. They have the hospital. There's stuff going on in the hospital. They had hired babies to be infants in this hospital and everything, so they didn't want to lose this money. So they're like, hey, Merrick, can you come to say early? I'm like, sure. I get there. They listen. We have added lines for this scene for you, and it's just you. Your wife's not going to be there. It's just going to be you and your daughter. So we're going to add these lines. Is that okay? I'm like, yes, it is. Thank you so much.
Doctor.
We gave you all the exposition, and that's great.
Right. So I do the scene, and I had the lines down within a short amount of time, and I was done with that last take of that scene. Listen, Merrick, the other act we had planned, they were going to get back in, but they can't make it all today. So we've written another couple scenes for you. Is that okay? Do you mind?
Beautiful.
And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. It's fine. Okay, we've printed out these scripts for you to do. So I do 2 more of these, and I get through them pretty well. No issues at all. And then after those scenes, they shot some more and they came back again. Listen, Merrick, we have this 4th scene of this episode. We have it handwritten out what you want to say. Can you take this piece of paper on a napkin and kind of read it?
Brilliant.
Yes.
Now, this sounds like a great day for you, but there is a writer somewhere on that set having aneurysm and a heart attack simultaneously.
Yes. They're like, you want me to do what? Right? What? Oh my God.
Every day, no more emergencies.
At the point where you get copy on a napkin, you got to go, hey, is that in the back okay? Like, how's that guy doing?
I'm not sure I've ever been on a film or a show where they were like, everybody wrap yourself in bubble wrap and do not leave your houses until we film. Don't get hurt.
Yeah. So that was a real special time for me, because it was like, that's what I talk about to the actors when they ask me the importance of classes and being prepared as an actor. That's what it's for. Sure, it rarely happens, but this is what sets you apart when you come in as a prepared actor, when you can handle curveballs that they would consider curveballs, which opportunities for you as an actor.
Yeah.
And so because of that, that's when I got to be a recurring guest star on that show, because they only had me as co-star and they saw that I can do this. And adapt quickly. And that was, I think, the next day my agent gets a call. They want you for 3 more episodes of this. I'm like, oh yeah, sure, of course.
I guess.
That's kind of, yeah, exactly. So being prepared is super important.
The thing I've always said is be prepared for luck. When people ask me, how do you make it an entertainment and this, that, and the other thing, regardless of what it is, like Steven Spielberg got lucky at some point because somebody said, hey, let me take a look at that thing. And that was the lucky moment. And he was prepared because he had the thing and it was good. And he showed it off and it was great. And there's a lot of talented people that are prepared and the luck doesn't necessarily happen. But you took full advantage of that moment. Yeah, you got a little bit lucky. Somebody else didn't show up. But you were fully prepared in that moment, because in entertainment, the second you ho-hum or second guess it or think, they are looking another direction like that. And people don't and I've been that guy as a producer and director. Like when I'm like, hey, this isn't really working out, can we do this with you? And somebody's like, well, I'm like, okay, cool, let me talk to you. It's that fast, y'all. Like, be prepared for luck.
Yes.
Half of my just commercials were opportunities. Like when I first started out, doing SAG background because it's awesome on commercials. And half of the commercials that I wound up principal on were because I was there and they saw that I was, paying attention, and somebody choked on set and they went, are you an actor? And I was like, yeah. Are you trained? Yeah. And like, put makeup on her, let's go. And I got an opportunity and nailed it. And that was it. So you do have to be ready for luck. You absolutely have to be. That's what the training is for.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Justin. Yeah, absolutely. Be prepared for luck, because there are people that the luck happens and they're prepared, and there's people that the luck happens and they're not prepared
and they choke.
They don't have.
And thank you for that.
Yeah,
but
and I tend to find the people that were not prepared are the ones that have the biggest complaints about the industry. Oh, this sucks. It's like, okay, you just weren't prepared and you're mad, but it's like,
it should feel good. Like you should feel comfortable. That's why I love theater, because like you got to get comfortable with being completely exposed and like just kind of ready for anything to go wrong and fix it. And it's live.
Absolutely. And keep rolling. So what about theater doing stage work is you keep rolling. It's a train, like they say. It's a train. You got to hang on because it's moving through.
It's a train, all right. Holy shit.
And you got to go. And it's like, hey, you stumble on something or someone else missed their cue and you keep going. I've spaced on something and made up a line, just kind of roll right past it. And it's like, hey, it's cool. Or something brilliant happens and you have that feeling. That's what all that live theater is for and about. And that's a whole other thing about acting.
Speaking of quantum physics and jumping time, have you ever had a moment on a set when you were so present and the training kicked in that you almost don't remember acting? Like you almost don't remember having done the work. It just kind of came organically and then was over and you're like, oh, wow. That was amazing.
Yes.
Ooh, what was it?
I'm trying to think. There's a couple of times this has happened. What most present for me is the latest experience that I had on a show that I was shooting last year, and it was like I was in it with this other actor. We were just locked eyes in this heated moment, and lines are coming out, but we had this connect with each other. It was just boom. And at the end, the camera op is like, ooh, goosebumps, man. I was like, oh, it's something. It was like one of those things where you don't even realize how awesome you made people feel watching that thing. But it's something that just came from you. And it just happened. You don't even, and that happens a lot with commercial auditions too. I think if you ever do commercial auditions or commercials, you realize that most of the time, when you're doing an audition for a commercial, and a lot of them are mainly just based on your improv ability. What you can do naturally that happens for you in that room. And most times I book something, it's because there's something that I let go. Got to let go and let go of fear of being wrong about it. Just if you're feeling it, just let it out. Let that impulse happen And that's what made the casting people, the director of the commercial in the audition go, yeah, that was interesting. I did a McDonald's commercial years ago, and the audition was, hey, you're coming in and you're basically interviewing someone for a job at McDonald's, and you kind of go through the audition and you kind of talk through what, doing the interview. So I came and did my audition. I'm doing it, ask a couple of questions, and the interview, I go, okay, well, we'll let you know. And I get up and leave. And they're like, wow. They laugh because none of the actors had done that. But they're like, wow. I'm like, directors, yeah, that happens sometimes. That does happen. And I booked this job. It's just something that I didn't realize it would come out of my mouth. It just
don't even know why you booked it. You're like, I did something they liked.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You brought that realism, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's what it is.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference? Because I know you're a left and a right brain like me. Do you have a preference between drama or comedy? I know you do both.
I think in my mind, maybe in my right mind, I prefer the drama because boom, boom, boom. But comedy is like it's a release where you're just letting it go and letting it come out. And what I found with me is that people tell me I'm funny because they don't expect me to be funny. Like I have this look of you're this.
I've heard that. What does that
lawyer,
mean?
detective guy. So it's like that Frank Drummond effect, that Naked Gun, where you think he's serious, but he's like this hilarious stuff coming out of his mouth. That's kind of where I kind of get by on.
I've had that compliment, I guess, before too, and I was like, "Is it the resting bitch face?"
Right.
Like,
I think that's it for me too. They're like, "Oh, you look like such a serious person."
When they say, "Oh, you're actually funny,"
yes,
that's what you say. You didn't need the actually part, man.
Yeah,
you could have just said, "I'm funny."
Oh,
you're actually
hysterical.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, you worked on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. How fun was that?
That was also an amazing experience.
Yeah.
Working with great actors. They were all very I was surprised at how casual and laid back everyone was. Yeah. I'm sitting there back with the wonderful late Andre Brower and the other actors and Andy Samberg. And we're sitting on this little tent. We're on this outdoor scene area and we're introducing each other. And Andy said, I'm Andy. I'm like, I know who you are.
Yeah, I know, dude.
I know you are.
Oh, I love that though.
You should have looked at him and said, "What do you do here?"
Yeah, exactly. So what do you do? Are you like, what do you do?
Where's the coffee, man?
What are you doing on this?
Yeah.
Did you get the stinger agent?
Yeah, I know, right?
A hard show to me. Like the dialogue goes very, very fast, and there's a few of these on your resume where they're not The West Wing, but they're moving. Like the pacing. Does that throw you off when you get on a set where everybody is so dialed in that they can move that fast with the dialogue?
It doesn't throw me because I feel that when you're watching, you get to watch them work a little bit and you do the rehearsal and they can instruct you on the pacing if they need to. But it's like, again, you're prepared, the training, you kind of can get into that rhythm pretty quickly. But it's still fun. I mean, it's amazing to see that.
Did you ever book something where you kind of, even though you booked it, which meant that you got it right, you didn't get the temperature of the show? Or like, I've been in environments where I booked something and I figured, well, I did what they needed then, and I was the one for the job. And I got there and it was completely different from whatever I did.
I'm trying to think what that was for me.
No biggie, like you adapt and change gears or energy, but like
I think I feel like for me it might have been High Potential, only because
that's a strange show.
I was a detective on the show, and the scenes I auditioned was for an interrogation scene was one of my audition scenes, and then me sort of explaining this suspect to the rest of the cast, the team in the scene, and I took it like this highly dramatic. I played my highly dramatic detective self. I was hardcore
because
in my
on the paper, right? Yeah. When
I get there, it's like it was a serious moment, but it was really kind of a fast-paced, almost lighthearted thing, and that show has that special energy. They combine that fast pacing with some seriousness, but still also lighthearted, and that's something that was like, oh, okay. And I guess I'd seen the show. A few episodes had been out at that point when I got the audition for it.
Even with just a couple episodes, though, it's not enough for you to have like a rhythm.
Yes, exactly.
The new shows are the hardest. You're like, I'm not sure. Not sure yet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah.
I love that. I love when you're like, okay, let's get weird.
Yeah. Why not?
Let's try this.
Yeah.
This is new. Amazing.
So
Merrick?
Merrick, what's your secret in the room to get the gig?
My secret in the room to get the gig.
I mean, not necessarily a secret, but I mean, like, is there anything that you feel like, hey, this is why I book, this is what I do, what I bring to the table, or this is a way that I pivot when I'm in the room doing an audition? What gets you the gig? Because you book, my friend. Like,
I would say, and again, being in person is a thing that I am very partial to. I book jobs just on self-tape, but it's like I feel like I got to get in the room with the people when I audition for that callback at least to do it.
Preach to our tech overlords who want to go back to the room.
Yeah, so I feel that connection. So what happens is I go in and I am fully prepared. Now, I think I can admit this, that as an actor, I know a lot of actors are really skilled at the cold read. They can take a piece of paper and kind of hold and look up and look down. I'm not very good at that. Not very good at that. I mean, I've done play readings where initially I would do them when I was trying to do that and it wouldn't work. So I knew I had to prepare a lot more to do that. Sweep up, would look down and sweep up whatever technique that people can do. Well, I don't do that well. I feel I am best when I am off book, when I audition, because it opens me up to do all the other stuff that I feel like I want to connect with. And if I'm worrying about what my next word is, then it throws my whole energy off.
Sure.
And I haven't developed that skill enough to where I can keep that energy and be looking down and trying to keep this intensity on a scene. So I go in fully prepared. So I'm off book, number one. And number two, I am prepared to adjust. And I kind of worked on listening to when they want an adjustment to where I can do that adjustment and keep everything else the same. I can do that adjustment, anticipate how I can adjust other things to make it fit with that adjustment they made. I mean, these are things that took a lot of time and practice where I've found that has allowed me to have a great audition. One of the recent auditions I had was, it was a very casual conversation with someone, and this is in the callback. And then the showrunner is like, hey, listen, I want you to do this scene again, but can you do it to where you're really, really angry at him? And none of the dialogue fit that attitude at all.
Love this.
Initially. Well, I had to, this is okay, make it why am I upset? What am I angry about? And quickly do that. And then do the scene. So now I ain't got to worry about the words. I'm just focused on where my energy is.
Yeah. What do I want in this scene?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that kind of thing, that kind of adjustment really helped me get that job, which I got because he said, do this. And it was like looking around, like, why is he asking this? And I'm like, oh. And also when I do this, I don't know if this is still true. I hear that some actors get really objectionable or defensive when they're given a redirect or given notes on their audition scene.
But if they're not the director, then they have to be able to do that.
But I've heard that actors will get upset, and they want to ask why. So wait, why am I angry? Why do you want me to be angry? I don't understand. Or they're like, hey,
figure it out. I don't know.
But they're like, hey, well, why would I change this? That doesn't make sense. And they're arguing with the person giving them this simple note, and they don't realize that's why you're not about to get this job.
Right. I mean, it makes me question, because half the time anymore, because everything's so NDA and hush hush and goes through so many lawyers, most of my auditions, if it's not for a show that's already on that you've seen, aren't the sides for the project itself. No. So why would it matter?
No.
It doesn't
matter.
Like they just want to see something out of you, so see if you can
they want to
see
if you take a direction or
exactly.
Are
They
you
just want to
difficult
see
on
if you can
set?
take direction and make an adjustment. That's all. And you're trying to ask them a defensive and take it as if the way you did it initially, the way you prepared, wasn't good enough, and you're getting mad at that. That's a sure way to show them that you're not.
No, it's not personal.
I get it though. I mean, for some people, it's an ego-driven business, and they're thinking, well, if you don't want me, then why am I doing this kind of thing?
I mean, we did until you said that.
And typically those are the people I try not to use in my projects unless I absolutely have to. But I dig your approach, because there's science to it, but it's science with a personality. It's like you need to be in the room because you want to be personable, and clearly your connection with these people is part of what's getting you the gig. But then also you have a very scientific process that you go through and getting off book.
It's
and
the energy.
Right.
It's energy.
Yeah.
I need that too.
I'm telling that's for that old engineering stuff, because I have a checklist. I swear I have a checklist for every audition. I have a checklist for the self-tape. I have a checklist for the in-person. I have a checklist for the day on set of what I need to have ready for this day. That's how nerdy I am about this.
I love this. I just geeked out. You don't understand, like, we haven't said it yet, but Justin and I are huge fans of quantum physics and can talk about all kinds of this stuff.
Oh, really?
Forever.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We haven't gone full geek yet on this show.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I'm putting it out there. Yeah, because like when you understand everything is energy, it's I'm trying to describe this to people who aren't full-time actors, like what the difference is between, preparing your sides and going in with the tools that you have. Like you need to get all the tools into the box, and then you work knowing you got all those tools in the box. And the difference between that and improv, which is like, you got an idea why you're there, and then somebody throws a tool at you, and you're like, wrench, okay. And you start like finding a reason to use the wrench.
Sure.
There's totally different mind shifts as to which direction to go in. One is extremely open. The other is very cerebral.
Yes.
I guess.
Yeah. No, I agree. I always encourage actors to also do some improv work like I did. I was with an improv group in San Diego for a while. And that's kind of how I developed the confidence to just go with my impulse, my whatever off the top of my head, just let that be the thing. Because most of the time, that's what's funny or that's what's brilliant. And you don't realize why or understand it, but it's just something that energy you felt that had this come up in your brain. That's what you need to put out there, because that's usually what is connecting with people best.
That first instinct, that first thought. Yeah. Ah, this is why I love acting. I love being an artist. I love playing with new things and probabilities and thinking from a different perspective, or taking somebody else's vision and stepping in their shoes and making it 3D. And I love telling stories so much. Do you also write? Are you writing anything?
I don't. As of now, I've been I have multiple friends that are writers hey man, they're actor, producer, actor, writer, and they're like, hey, are you gonna? I'm like, I haven't put the time. They're like, you just gotta. And what's happening for me is that I think I'm still at this point where I want to achieve this thing in acting before I go anywhere else. That may be wrong of me to think that way, because everyone talks about how you need to be multi-hyphenate.
No rules.
But I've been like, and I produced stuff. I produce films that I'm not starring in, but I produce and help them. Absolutely.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And I'm learning the business on that end as well. So that's really nice. But
I don't think there's any rules, Merrick. I think you do what your gut says. You put your boat in the river, and the river's moving, and you let the boat go where it's going for you. I don't think you have to do certain things. You do have to do the work, obviously. Yes. And I do think that improv is kind of mandatory for all of us. But I don't think there's any rules. Like I went to school for opera. So I really don't. Yeah, I don't think it really matters how you got there. I went to school
for audio engineering, and that's nice. I don't do audio.
I mean, that's still kind of producing those.
Well, I mean, it led to it, and I audited all the film classes, and it was Full Sail, and it was like entertainment related, but it's still. I like what you're saying though, Merrick, because and this may sound odd, but I don't believe in goals, because when you reach a goal, then you have to create someplace else to go. After the goal. Yeah. So I believe in steps. Right. And the step can be what most people refer to as a goal, but it's like, no, I want to look at it as steps so that whatever the end thing is, there's always room for improvement or room for the next thing.
Sure.
So being that you don't necessarily want to branch away from acting, what is the next step? What is the progression for you from here? Is it more of the same? Is it a different level of the same game? Like what's the next step for you that you would like to see yourself, in down the road?
I think a lot of personal growth for me as well, for my family, my wife, our kids, and us traveling the world. And I mean, I want to have this great career, but I also want it to where I have the freedom to make look at different interests at my own. Right now, I'm so focused on being successful at this. I haven't allowed myself to say, hey, why not take a trip down to South America and study this Mayan pyramid?
You just walked into my world. So
yeah.
I was that way.
Yeah.
I was that way coming out of corporate America. When I came out to Los Angeles, I had goals. I had to work. I had to be okay because after 9/11, I was getting on my feet again. And I kept working and I never let myself have that part of life where I can relax, because there was always a job on the horizon. Oh, you're on a bail. Oh, you're on hold. Oh, they're looking at you for this. Oh, next week. There's always something to keep you hostage to the craft and everything. And one day I said, you know what? I'm doing well. Fuck it. I want to see the world. Took a trip to Bali, changed my life. Travel has been my joy. That's the thing I do for me. So yes.
And I'll be like, hey, Lisa, so what's going on next week? And she'll be like, oh yeah, I'm going to Thailand or something. I'm like, what are you kidding me? You just up and go?
I'm going to go traveling. Well, I mean, not since before pandemic, but yeah.
Well, also, I would say, speaking on the quantum energies of the universe.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
One thing that many actors realize is that when you're in that mode where you're in the season, you're booking, you're auditioning, and then you say, hey, okay, great. You know what? I'm going to check out this 4 days to go back home to visit family. Just that 4 days, booking out, agents, managers, booking out.
That's the second they call you.
That's when they call you. You might have nothing for months. The 4 days you booked out for that trip back home.
Yep.
To see your grandma, whatever it is on her death, whatever it is.
I just thought you'd want to hear about this one. This is that opportunity you've been waiting for.
Can you get back? No, I'm in Cambodia.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
That happens to me pretty much every time I've traveled.
Book a trip.
Los
you want
Angeles.
to work? Book a trip.
Yeah, that's it. That's the old saying is you want a job? Book a trip. Buy a plane ticket. That's what they say. Buy a plane ticket. You'll book a job.
Jeez. I think my agent writes in his calendar, call Justin between those dates. I think he just gets it backward.
Yes.
I think he heard the dates. He didn't hear what it meant. And in his mind, he thinks, that's when I need to book my dude. That's
so my question for you guys, because you're really into this, is what does that mean for you? That if you really want, you're achieving this mode of achieving this thing with acting, building career, that you book something that you set aside away from acting, that acting comes back and snatches you from that. What does that mean, you think?
Oh, there's lots of ways of interpreting that.
Okay.
I mean, the karmic side says, oh, well, this was meant to be for me and I have to take it because, it lined up, and if it lined up, it's mine. The more theoretical side of you, the more pragmatic side says, yeah, but I have to live my life because time is something I can never get back.
Right.
So I tend to lean more left brain, more pragmatic.
Okay. I believe it's consistently an internal test. The reason why you're questioning that moment is not because of the external motivations ever. You're always questioning that, to me, because of the internal motivations. You see these things as tests of your strength or your willpower or your choices. I don't know that they're predetermined or anything to that extent. I think these things are always out there. These forks in the road are always there, but your internal motivation is what's making you see it as a dramatic fork in the road where you have, man, if I don't take this opportunity, like, is my family more important? Should I be over here with the wife and kids? Should I be doing this? Or should I take this gig because this was the one that was meant for me? I think it's your internal process that's coming up with that being the big fork. I think there was 5 forks that same day of other things. They just didn't register to you the same way.
There's also the subliminal fears of, if I don't take it, I'll lose my momentum, or if I don't take it, I'll never work again. Right.
And that internal monologue, that internal dialogue might be really important too. I mean, I think it's almost like your subconscious is telling you, like, hey, no, we've got to make a decision here, and this one really could veer us one way or the other. And
Merrick, are you a big thinker? Do you think things through? Like, I'm a thinker. I do.
Well, yeah, I think about this, and I want to bring this up because you guys are like-minded on this, because I feel like that is something that I was questioning. Why is that happening? And what I've been telling myself or thinking is that this is a test, like you said, Justin, and you've got to find out where you are with this thing you call passion. You got your family waiting for you back home, and you got this thing you say is your passion. What are you gonna do? Now, I didn't think about this. You just said it, Justin, which is brilliant, is that, hey, you're making this out to be this ultimate thing, but you've had multiple things happen to you along this way, at that same day even. And it's just the thing that's registering with you. And you've got to realize that, perhaps. That's what I probably had to think about. Is, hey, you're making it out to be this thing, but you've already had many of these choices, these tests along this way that you've got to also recognize. Maybe that's what it is.
And so I told this to my son the other day. I said, because he was having one of those moments of, you know, this or this, and these are big life decisions. He's 17, you know, he's looking at colleges and this and the other thing. So it's all big life decisions, and he's not wrong. But I said, son, it's very easy. The trick is you want to live without regret. You're going to make decisions. Some might be right, some might be wrong, but you don't want to regret them. And the only way to not regret them is to do a cost-benefit analysis. As scientific and as boring as that sounds, you just say, what does it cost me on this side to get the benefit that I want? What does it cost me on this side to get the benefit that I want? And when you weigh it out, and a lot of times the decisions become easy. And then even if it's the wrong decision, you don't feel as bad about it because you took the information you had at the time, you process it as best as you possibly can, and you make that decision where the cost benefit analysis looks like it's going to pay off the best for you. And again, you still can't control all the outside factors. You can't control the next little butterfly sneeze in China that makes it all change. But at the same time, I have found that later in life, once I started doing that with things, I don't have guilt or remorse or regret like I did in my 20s. In my 20s, I was just grab go, like totally grab the reins and go, like they tell you, just jump on the horse and ride. But if I had stopped and looked around, there was clearly a better horse to be on in the first place that was standing right there.
We have different trajectories. Well, you both also have other responsibilities where you do have family, like you've got kids and you have a wife. So there's motivation in that regard too.
That's what I say to Jordan is that one particular instance this happened is years ago, one of our oldest kids was doing like a master's thesis for school. They were attending Notre Dame. And so myself, my wife, my sister, we flew out. We were going to watch his thesis presentation. They had a whole event thing, and I booked, I think it was like a major commercial or major show or something, and the day collided with at least a couple of those days. So I did what Jordan basically saying is a sort of a cost benefit analysis is, okay, I am not missing my kids' performance.
Foot down.
I got to figure how am I gonna split this, make this work? What can I shift around to try to make a counter to what I'm faced with? And it worked out to where I said, okay, here's what I can do. I can be there for my oldest kid. And when they do their presentation, I can be there for that and give them a great hug. And then right after that, I can head off to the airport, get on a plane. So I told my agent, this is what I can do. I can't be there today, but I can be there tomorrow morning. If they're willing to shift it that one day for me to start, then I'll be fine. And they did.
They generally do. They're human beings.
I have no
honestly, if they hadn't, you shouldn't have felt bad about it because the cost would have been too high for you personally.
You're right.
And that's all.
That's most of this industry is just weighing life against possibility. It's all possibility and probability.
And thankfully, all this news came down as we were heading out to the trip. So thankfully, my amazing wife Peggy was fine for me to leave there with my sister to hang out with our oldest kid for a bit and fly back the next day while I drove back that night.
Oh my gosh, I love this.
My wife's supposed to, she's down. She's like, hey, we're in this together. I'm there with you. I know what this is important for our lives. So
look, she married an actor. So I'm sorry. There's a whole writer that she's got to read to know, like, this is the weird stuff you're agreeing with, right?
That's right.
Like those calls when you're like 25 hours in, you can't possibly still be on set. Oh, but I am.
Oh, yes, I am.
And we haven't shot yet.
And I'm supposed to drive myself home too, and that doesn't feel like a good idea.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, the things that my family doesn't know, like all those, getting wrapped at 3:30 a.m. from Palmdale and having to drive in pitch blackness without, we had a Thomas guide at the time. Remember Thomas guides?
Exactly.
Trying to find my way back to a highway. Like, I don't even know which way I'm facing now.
Yeah. And again, initially I started in San Diego, so I was auditioning in LA. There were days Well, I was driving up.
How many hours?
For one audition. It's 3 hours each. What?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
for one audition.
For one audition, that's what, 15, 20 minutes?
That you have a 3% chance of getting.
I mean,
so
it's Merrick McCartha.
It takes, I don't want to say crazy is the word, but a dedication. I don't know what it is.
Certain tenacity.
Tenacity, Lisa. What do you say, Justin? What is it?
Don't make us feel bad.
I don't know. Well, look, there's something a little wrong with us all. Like this man had a future and a career and switched it up to do this. Yeah. So clearly there is something to it. There's a feeling that you get from doing this kind of stuff that you can't get any other way. And
I love that you started.
Don't tell too many people because they're all going to come over here and talk to you.
Listen, this is not for anyone.
No, it's
like you
hard.
really have to. This is hardcore. This is not an easy career.
You do. You have to persevere through certain things, and even back to that prepared for luck thing. It's like, okay, prepared for luck, but how long does it take you to get lucky? Guess what? Money does grow on trees because money's made of paper and paper comes from trees.
Okay.
But how long does it take? How long does it take to grow a tree, plant the tree, grow the tree, chop the tree down, process it into paper, paint it to be money? It takes a lot.
It's important to remember, like literally nothing is within your control in our industry except your preparedness, your willingness to be prepared and to study and to be on top of your game.
And that's what it is.
But there's new technology that shifts the field. There's new legislation that shifts the field. There are new ways of making film that, I mean, we went through Quibi, we went through streaming, it's mind-boggling. Yeah. You just have to keep your boat in the river.
You do. And no one can make themselves famous. All the kids out there doing
Sure you can.
And you think that you can make yourself famous. It actually, by the definition, is not possible because somebody else has to curate that. Somebody else has to say, we want to watch it. Someone else has to watch it. Some director or producer has to put you in the movie. You can think all day long that you can make yourself famous, but the idea of fame is that other people appreciate you for what you do.
I want to be working. I want to do good work.
Yeah. And to do good work, somebody else has to put you on.
I can be famous. I can be famous within 48 hours. All I have to do is go streaking through downtown and make sure somebody's cell phone was out.
And that is absolute thing. Yeah, people have this idea, oh, I just do this thing, I'll be famous. Okay, well, what's that going to cost you though?
Yeah, and not money.
I work hard. I prepared. I persevered through 6-hour round trip drives. Yeah. I feel good about it. I feel good that I know that I was that dedicated. That's a positive memory for me to know that I've gotten where I am after doing something like that. When you look back at when you get your fame that you want, are you going to feel good about that?
Do you feel good?
Do you understand how that's going to affect you? Even once you reach fame, if you think that's going to be okay with you after that, then you probably have a wrong idea.
Yeah.
It's one thing to be chosen, but why were you chosen?
Well, I don't know about being chosen. I just keep going at it. And I get lucky. But
sure. People have these mythical stories of, oh, this person burst on the scene or whatever. But for one, it's usually work behind that, or someone picked them out, and you'll never be able to find the person that's going to make you famous. And there is someone that can do it, but you're not going to find that person.
Not really. It shouldn't be the goal, though.
No, and it should be the goal. You're right. That's a big point. It should not be the goal.
When I started out, I wanted to prove to myself that I can forge a career with not a single soul in the industry and not a single clue about how it worked and keeping my integrity intact.
Yes.
And I freaking did it. Yes. That's the bottom line is I did it. So when I mentor kids, I try to instill, like, you might as well try. If this is the first thing you think about when you get up and the last thing before you go to bed and you're just all excited about it, go do it. Mm-hmm. Do it with your cell phone. Start somewhere, but give it your all.
Yeah, and it should be for you.
Yeah,
it should be for you. When it stops being for you, then that's when, are you really succeeding if it's not even giving you that joy, that thing in your gut that you feel when you do the thing you love? You know.
Yeah. Well, you're still doing the thing that you love. I understand that you have a recurring and a new Amazon series. Can we talk about it? Are we allowed to? Because
we are. It's actually right in that window now where they're about to do some announcements. They started doing announcements, but there's a new series on Amazon called Countdown.
Countdown.
Coming out. They're going to have a 3-episode premiere.
Nice.
On June 25th. And it's on Amazon. And after that, it'll be a weekly show. I'm trying to keep everything I know public so I don't violate any issues.
Right.
So I am actually heavily recurring on this show.
Yes.
And it's been a wonderful experience. That audition where the guy told me to do it angry instead of the calm, that was for this show.
Oh, excellent.
So I'm very excited and proud of this. Work with some fantastic actors and producers. It's going to be, it's a big deal, and I'm excited for everyone to see it. Not just me.
No.
But I'm excited for everyone to see this show.
This sounds amazing. So I got to ask this though. Now, when you came back and you read it angry, was it actual copy or anything close to anything you ended up doing in the actual show, or was it some weird ghost copy that they just wanted you to read for the audition?
Well, I will say this. I did find out later that there was a specific reason why the showrunner wanted me to read it that way. It was more to gauge my range, if anything, of how far I can go, what I would look like in that area in case they wanted to use that. So that was
what does he look angry, guys? Does he do the nostril flare or like? Yeah.
It's starring Jensen Ackles, Eric Dane, Jessica Camacho, Elliot Knight. Multiple people I'm forgetting. They're all and lots of people that I've worked with before. There's a great friend named Matt Kaminsky that's in it. He's in 3 episodes of the show as well. So
what is the genre?
It is an action thriller.
I'm there.
Action thriller.
Done.
Done.
Yeah.
Deal. Sign me up. Take my money. Whatever.
Yeah. So hopefully you get to see that, and I'm excited for it to come out as well. And
they picked the right guy, Merrick.
And you said June 25th?
June 25th.
June 25th.
3-episode premiere dropping June 25th on Amazon for the show Countdown.
And I like that. I like that 3-episode drop style thing that they do, because I want to binge some of a show. I have so much trouble now just watching a premiere episode and then getting nothing else. Disney gives you like 2 episodes, but then you gotta wait. Like the 3-episode Amazon thing, like I think they did it for Reacher or something else that I watched recently, and I was like, I can do this.
Right,
I'm invested now. Now I can watch it one a week.
Yes, yeah. From what I understand, there's a science behind it why they do that. It is for something they feel good about, strongly about. They want to make sure the audience is invested. So if they get you invested with the first 3 episode or so drops, then go weekly. They've got you hooked in, and now you're weekly. Other people that haven't heard about it yet can catch up.
Yeah,
so people have that excitement factor and keep.
Sounds familiar. Sounds like what we used to do.
I know.
Before streaming. Gotta wait a whole week.
I know. I wonder if you guys ever have an episode about how the industry is like trying really hard not to go back to the thing that worked before.
Yeah, we have been ad nauseum about it.
They slowly are. It's like cable all over again now, though. Everyone's bundling together.
Yes.
Like, Max and Disney are doing packages. It's like, wait a minute, man, this is just cable.
I'm at the thought that like I don't care. I just want to be a part of it.
And now you pay less. What?
Yes.
So, as I feared, because I want to talk for another hour, we're coming up on the last of this hour. Justin, you want to ask the big quantum physics question, or like
I do want to ask the big quantum physics question, and you got a whole 49 seconds to answer it.
Or so, yeah.
If you couldn't ever act again, would you miss it, and what would you do instead?
Oh yeah, I would absolutely miss it. And I would be a high school math teacher.
Okay.
You'd be the coolest math teacher.
I feel like one of the wonderful things about my high school is I had this math teacher. He just really got me engaged in it. And people talk about how math's so hard. He made it so easy for us. And I'm like, I want to be able to do that for kids in high school when it, for me, matters for people to get it. So yeah.
Well, see, and now we're out of time. And thank you, Merrick, for joining us. And Justin and Lisa, until next week.
Yeah, thank you, Merrick.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.